two guests have come. Their luggage they have kept, outside in the hall with the cupboard.
Yeah, I know.
They have come. See, they take prasada and Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshur-malitam Yena Tasmai Shri-Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu-padaya Krishna-Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Charine Nirvisheshaya Shunivadi Pashadadeshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Chapter 9.
नहीं मैं पढ़ दिया था बहुत सारे. I think. What is the shloka today? 30. I think 35th we have to start. 9. First canto, chapter 9. What is the shloka? 30. Mataji? I just read so much. No, camera manual we have to download, and because we purchased from Amazon, we are not able to register the camera, not able to download. But there will be a way to download. But then he is searching for something.
For us. So you wanted to see the manual was there and
manual, the number we have to search in the net. Okay. From the website, it is not doing the Nikon because it has come from not able to register it. You have to search in the net, it will be there. 35 से शुरू करें. 35. हाँ. That's the translation, and we had analyzed till which shloka?
Okay, so you can start from 36.
36, 35. ओके, अभी आ जाएगा आपका. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. When the notes Prerna has made, we are done till 34th. We are just about to start from 35. Sapati Saki Vacho Nishamya Madhye Nija Parayor Balayor Ratham Nivesha Siddhavati Para Shanikayor Akrishna Akshna Hridavati Partha Sakheratir Mamastu. In obedience to the command of his friend Lord Shri Krishna, entered the arena of battle of Kurukshetra with the soldiers of Arjuna and Duryodhana. And while there, he shortened the lifespan of the opposite party by his merciful glance. This was done simply by his looking at the enemy. Let my mind be fixed upon that Krishna.
In the Bhagavad Gita 1.21.
Mike.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In the Bhagavad Gita 1.21 to 25, Arjuna ordered the infallible Lord Sri Krishna to place his chariot between the phalanx of the soldiers. He asked him to stay there until he had finished overwhelming the enemy he had to face in the battle. When the Lord was so asked, he at once did so, just like an order carrier. And the Lord pointed out all the important men on the opposite side, saying, "Here is Bhishma, here is Drona," and so on. The Lord, being the supreme living being, is never the order supplier or order carrier of anyone, whoever he may be, but out of his causeless mercy and affection for his pure devotee, sometimes he carries out the order of the devotee like an awaiting servant. By executing the order of the devotee, the Lord becomes pleased, as a father is pleased to carry out the orders of his small child. This is possible only out of pure transcendental love between the Lord and his devotee. And Vishnudeva was quite aware of this fact. He therefore addressed the Lord as the friend of Arjuna. The Lord diminished the duration of life of opposite party by his merciful glance. It is said that all the fighters who assembled on the battlefield of Kurukshetra attained salvation by personally seeing the Lord at the time of death. Therefore, his diminishing the duration of life of Arjuna's enemy does not mean that he was partial to the cause of Arjuna. Actually, he was merciful to the opposite party because they would have not they would not have attained salvation by dying at home in the ordinary course of life. Here was a chance to see the Lord at the time of death and thus attain salvation from material life. Therefore, the Lord is all good, and whatever he does is for everyone's good. Apparently, it was for the victory of Arjuna, his intimate friend, but factually, it was for the good of Arjuna's enemies. Such are the transcendental activities of the Lord, and whoever understands this also gets salvation after quitting this material body. This Lord, the Lord does not wrong in any circumstance because he is absolute, all good at all times.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah, बोलिए. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. हाँ बोलिए. माता जी हमको एक आपको बड़ा रूम दे रहे हैं, ठीक है, उसमें 4 बेडेड रूम है, बड़ा रूम दे रहे हैं, 4 बेडेड रूम है, हो जाएगा, आप सब लोग एडजस्ट हो जाएंगे, ठीक है, बड़ा रूम है वो, 4 बेडेड रूम है, ठीक है, नो प्रॉब्लम, नो प्रॉब्लम, ठीक है, ठीक है, ठीक है, हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण। ओके, ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनं। Hare Krishna. Who is with this name, baby?
हरे कृष्णा।
कौन है? Hare Krishna. You
बेबी
can,
भास्कर।
हाँ?
बेबी।
You can introduce yourself.
Yeah, this is baby Bhaskar.
Okay. Where are you?
I am from Sydney.
Oh, you are in Australia joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
What time it is for you? 1 o'clock?
Time it is 4:10.
4 o'clock already. No?
Yeah.
Oh, you will have the daylight saving, I think. Because from there, some people join us regularly. Payal Mataji and one more friend of ours. Welcome. So this is the first time you're joining us, है ना?
Yeah.
Okay. This is discussion on the Bhishma's prayer. Have you read this prayer before?
No, I didn't read. Yeah, I heard about it.
Okay, you'll be able to understand. Okay. You're able to see?
No,
Can you see the text I am displaying now?
I cannot see.
You're already part of the video conference now, so you should be able to
I
see.
can hear. Yeah.
Yeah, now you can see. No, you're on a computer or on a mobile. Yeah. Okay. In obedience to the command of His son Lord Shri Krishna entered the arena of battlefield of Kurukshetra between the soldiers of Arjuna and Duryodhana, while they shortened the life's opposite part by a merciful glance. This is Krishna is doing just by Hare Krishna. So he is able to do this just by his watching. So people would have different lives. Prabhupada has said so many beautiful things to the purport. That Krishna loves to carry the order of the devotees like an awaiting servant. And Krishna is very pleased. And Bhishma was quite aware. By executing order of the devotee, the Lord becomes pleased, and the Father is pleased to carry out the order of the small child. It is possible only out of pure transcendent love between Lord and his devotee. And Bhishma was quite aware of this fact. Bhishma, being a pure devotee, was totally aware of the situation. Okay. And then they all got fortunate to see the Lord while leaving the body. So in that way, Krishna was fortunate to both the parties. He was fortunate. He was good for the Pandavas. He made them in the war. And also for the Kauravas. Why? Because they died, they saw Krishna while leaving the body. Okay. There are too many things. Too much equipment here. Okay. The Lord is good, whatever it is for everybody is good. Correct? In this world, if we benefit one person, we harm another person. किसी को फायदा देते हैं, somebody else is harmed. But here, Krishna did apparently good for the Pandavas, but Kauravas also. Anyway, they had to die one day. They died and went to Vaikuntha, which is eternal. So they are benefited. Okay, done. This is 36 shloka. We'll just go to the. Actually, there are, I was seeing on the net, there is Bhishma Suti. People are wonderfully sung. The raga and all, this can be sung. Very nicely composed it is. Vyavahita pritana mukham nirikshya Swajana vadhad vimukhaya dosha buddhya Swajana vadhad vimukhasya dosha buddhya Kumati maharadatna vidyaya Charanarati paramasya tasya me astu. When Arjuna was seemingly polluted by ignorance upon observing the soldiers and commanders before him on the battlefield, the Lord eradicated his ignorance with delivering transcendent knowledge. May his lotus feet always remain the object of my attraction. Somebody will read. Mataji, would like to read?
Covered by Srila Prabhupada. Covered by Srila Prabhupada. The kings and the commanders were to stand in front of the fighting soldiers. That was the system of actual fighting. The kings and the commanders were not so-called presidents or ministers of defense as they are
Today.
They would not stay home while the poor soldiers or mercenaries were fighting face to face. This may be the regulation of modern democracy. But when actual monarchy was prevailing, the monarchs were not elected without consideration or qualification. As it was evident from the battlefield of Kurukshetra, all the executive heads of the both parties, like Drona, Bhishma, Arjuna, and Duryodhana, were not sleeping. All of them were actual participants in the fighting, which was selected to be executed at a place away from the civil residential quarters. This means that the innocent citizens were immune from all effects of fighting between the rival royal parties. The citizens had no business in seeing what was going to happen during such fighting. They were to pay one-fourth of their income to the ruler, whether he be Arjuna or Duryodhana. All the commanders of the parties on the battlefield of the Kurukshetra were standing face to face, and Arjuna saw them with great compassion and lamented that he was to kill his kinsmen on the battlefield for the sake of the empire. He was not at all afraid of the giant military phalanx presented by Duryodhana, but as a merciful devotee of the Lord, renunciation of worldly things was natural for him, and thus he decided not to fight for worldly possessions. But this was due to a poor fund of knowledge, and therefore it was said here that his intelligence became polluted. His intelligence could not be polluted at any time because he was a devotee and constant companion of the Lord, as is clear in the fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Apparently, Arjuna's intelligence became polluted because otherwise there would not have been a chance of deliver the teachings of Bhagavad Gita for the good of all polluted conditioned souls engaged in the material bondage by the conception of the false material body. The Bhagavad Gita was delivered to the conditioned souls of the world to deliver them from the wrong conception of identifying the body with the soul and to re-establish the soul's eternal relation with the Supreme Lord. Atma Vidya, or transcendental knowledge of himself, was primarily spoken by the Lord for the benefit of all concerned in all parts of the universe.
Okay. So there were various interesting points. First thing is what? That the soldiers were not, this is Bhishma meditating how Krishna was so kind and he gave spiritual knowledge to Arjuna. So kind. Okay? And Arjuna, but Prabhupada is saying this was actually arrangement of Yogamaya. Arjuna being a pure devotee, Nitya Siddha, even Bhishma. Bhishma is every time Krishna appears in this world. This Leela is going Nitya. It is going in this universe, next universe, next universe. And Bhishma is the eternal companion in that way. Bhishma, Arjuna, they're always there in Krishna's Bhauma Leela. In the middle word Krishna comes. He's in this universe, the next universe. It's like a sun. Today it is in Mangalore now. It is 10:30. Now it will be 10:30 in some other place, then some other place, then some other place. So it is continuously going on 10:30. The same way Krishna's Leela is continuously going on. Somewhere it is always going on. So Bhishma is the eternal companion, similarly Arjuna. So Arjuna cannot be touched by Mahavir. Just like when Shiva ran after Krishna in Mohini Murti form, that was also Yogamaya. It was to teach us a lesson, be careful. Similarly, Arjuna, be careful. It's not that Arjuna got into. Last time I was trying to understand this. So Krishna instructed and Prabhupada said some more points there. Everybody was there, except Dhritarashtra was blind. Everybody was there in the battle. And no civilians were involved. First thing the Kshatriyas, Prabhupada said, today country may declare war in another country for no reason. Just out of political whims or ego, they may declare war. Just like it happened, Iraq war. Nobody understood the purpose why it was declared. They say Iraq has WMD. The whims of a politician, war can be declared. But previously, you declare, but you be there in the front. You cannot sit and have bread and butter and sleep at your place and poor soldiers die on the battlefield. You cannot do that. You have to be there in the front. That was one part. And second part was this innocent citizens immune. They have nothing to do with the war. They were never. They will collect in a battlefield and they will fight. They just had to pay 25% tax, Prabhupada said, whether it be Arjuna or Duryodhana, that's it. Self-sufficient economy in every village. They just did not have to. Today we are bothered. What will be the petrol rate? Now petrol rate is going down. We are all affected. Tomorrow some war starts in the Gulf, we get affected. It's international confusion. So much delicate it is, the economy. One part of the world, one bank in America went bust, hook, whole world economy got disturbed. It's so complicated it is. But Vedic times, very simple. Simple economy. Every village or town is self-sufficient. It hardly matters to them what happens to other part of the world. Duryodhana who were ruling, they just have to pay 25. So the whole village says self-sufficient. Economically, they are not at all affected. So this is Hare Krishna Prerna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
The citizens have no business seeing what is going to happen. Arjuna saw them with great compassion and lamented that he was to kill his kinsmen in the battle for the sake of the empire. He was not at all, and Arjuna was not greedy for an empire. That's what even Yudhishthira Maharaj will prove to be. Even he is not so greedy, but situation, that's why the Bhishma instructions are going on. Arjuna lamented before the war, Yudhishthira Maharaj after the war. Therefore, there is one more connection. Bhagavad Gita is before the war, Bhagavatam after the war. In that way, it starts with. He was not at all afraid of the giant military phalanx presented by Duryodhana, but a merciful devotee to Lord, an renunciation of worldly things for natural further. He decided not to fight for worldly conditions. That's a test of a devotee. Devotee has no desire for na shochati na kankshati. He doesn't have. So Prabhupada also said sometimes, living in the middle world, we should be very careful not to imitate the karmis. As we advance in Krishna consciousness, because they're living among them, they try to push you. You should have that car, you should have this kind of. We should see utility is the principle. We don't get into rat race for unnecessary things. That should not be our principle. Probably don't imitate the karmas. So for worldly position, no, that's not a devotee's intention. Therefore, Arjuna decided not to fight. He fought when Krishna enlightened him for Krishna. The Prabhupada said, this is very clear, we discussed many times, because unless Arjuna intelligence was polluted, Gita would not have come out. Similarly, unless Parikshit Maharaj intelligence became polluted when he put this dead snake on the neck of the Shamika Rishi, Bhagavatam would not have come out. Sometimes Krishna's arrangement by Yogamaya. Atma Vidya, the transcendental knowledge himself, primarily spoken a lot for benefit of all the people in all parts of the universe. Hare Krishna, Prerna Mataji, you are there?
Yes, Prabhu, I'm there. You can hear me, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, you can hear me?
Now we can hear. Yeah, be ready. You can read the purport now, can it? Okay?
Yes, Prabhu.
Swanigamam apahaya matpratigyam ritam adhikartum avapluto rathastaha dhritarata charano avyaya chalagmuhu hari iva hantum ivam gatotariyaha. Fulfilling my desire and sacrificing his own promise, he got down from the chariot, took up its heel, and ran towards me hurriedly, just as the lion goes to kill an elephant. He even dropped his outer garment on the thing. Yes, Mother.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Am I audible, Prabhu?
Yeah.
The Battle of Kurukshetra was fought on military principles, but at the same time in a sporting spirit, like a friend's fight with another friend. Duryodhana criticized Bhishma Deva, alleging that he was reluctant to kill Arjuna because of paternal affection. A Kshatriya cannot tolerate insults on the principle of fighting. Bhishma Deva therefore promised that the next day he would kill all 5 Pandavas with special weapons made for the purpose. Duryodhana was satisfied and he kept the arrows with him to be delivered the next day during the fight. By tricks, Arjuna took the arrows from Duryodhana and Bhishma Deva could understand that this was the trick of Lord Krishna. So he took a vow that next day Krishna would have to take up weapons himself, otherwise his friend Arjuna would die. In the next day's fighting, Bhishma Deva fought so violently that both Arjuna and Krishna were in trouble. Arjuna was almost defeated. The situation was so tense that he was about to be killed by Bhishma Deva the very next moment. At that time, Lord Krishna wanted to please his devotee Bhishma by keeping Bhishma's promise, which was more important than his own. Seemingly, he broke his own promise. He promised before the beginning of the battle of Kurukshetra that he would remain without weapons and would not use his strength for either of the parties. But to protect Arjuna, he got down from the chariot, took up the wheel of the chariot, and hurriedly rushed at Bhishma Deva in an angry mood, as a lion goes to kill an elephant. He dropped his covering cloth on the way, and out of great anger, he did not know that he had dropped it. Bhishma Deva at once gave up his weapons and stood to be killed by Krishna, his beloved Lord. The fighting of the day was thus ended at that very moment, and Arjuna was saved. Of course, there was no possibility of Arjuna's death because the Lord himself was on the chariot. But because Bhishma Deva wanted to see Lord Krishna take up some weapon to save his friend, the Lord created this situation, making Arjuna's death imminent. He stood before Bhishma Deva to show him that his promise was fulfilled and that he had taken up the wheel.
Yes, very nice. Fulfilling my desire and sacrificing his own promise, he got onto the chariot, took up its wheel, ran towards me hurriedly. Just a lion goes to kill an elephant, even dropped his outer garment. It's a beautiful meditation. In fact, the main meditation Bhishma is going to have is this. This is rasa is this. Now, we may not be so much, different people have different rasa. It is Bhishma's rasa, to give pleasure to the Lord by fighting. Sometimes in the palace, the kings also have somebody to just fight. They just, to have some fun. They just, like children also, just for fun sometimes fight. Sometimes friends also, just for fun. So for Krishna, that's how the Jaya Vijaya came down, because Krishna wanted to have fun of fighting. He also enjoys Jaya Vijaya took 3 incarnations, and Krishna had fun of fighting with them. And this is Shaurya, one of the rasas. So Bhishma is giving pleasure. That is his pleasure. Therefore, the meditation, this will keep coming again and again. Many shlokas in the previous also, here also it has come. And now he remembering a very unique thing which happened. First thing, everybody knows, Bhishma was instigated by Duryodhana. You're not fighting properly. I think you're too attached to Arjuna. Bhishma felt insulted. What do you think? I can't fight. Tomorrow they're dead. And he made 5 arrows. All the 5 Pandavas are dead tomorrow. And Duryodhana said, give me the arrows. So I'll give you tomorrow. Then Arjuna comes to him. Okay, that's fine. Now, Arjuna meets Duryodhana. The Duryodhana says, what do you want? You want me to give you the kingdom? He said, no, that will settle by fighting. But you remember you gave me a vara. Anybody remembers when Duryodhana gave this to Arjuna?
In the childhood.
When? Boon. When he had given him the boon.
Yeah, in the childhood, I think Duryodhana, he was attacked by a crocodile or something, and Arjuna shot arrows into the mouth of the crocodile, and he saved Duryodhana. And Duryodhana was very pleased, and he gives him that boon that in the future you can ask me for anything and I shall grant it. But Arjuna himself forgets that this boon was granted by Duryodhana, and Krishna reminds him of it.
This is the one? This is the instance? Okay, good.
Yeah.
So, and Duryodhana, you know, even though Duryodhana we say bad,
Yes, he honored his promise.
Yeah. Even bad people are good than good people are today. You say bad, but he's better than he man of at least kept his word. Kshatriyas were known for keeping the word. But then he didn't keep the word on the Vanvas. You know, they say, you come after Vanvas, I'll give you. And he kept fighting for the timing. He said, no, few moments before actually the Vanvas was to end. These Pandavas have revealed themselves, so they have to go back 12 years again. You know that? But Bhishma was insisting, no, by all his calculation, the Vanvas, Agyatvas has properly ended. So anyway, that's a separate issue. But at this point, at least, Duryodhana honored and he asked Arjuna, what does he want? He said, give me the 5 arrows. And he gave. He gave. You know, he's not all bad. No, evil means Duryodhana. But he's not all evil. At least he did this. Tricks. And Bhishma could understand only Krishna. Because this shows Krishna knows everything. When Duryodhana was going to his mother naked, that time also, Krishna knows. Correct? Krishna knows. Krishna knows what is happening. Now how can he know? परमात्मा है ना, वो पता है उधर उधर ही उधर अरे बेशरम नंगा जा रहा है वो देख लिया तो नहीं मार सकते हाँ नहीं मार सकते कृष्ण ने पकड़ बड़ा ना कपड़े जा रहा है इसलिए उसने थोड़ा सा पहन किया यस हम देखती तो नहीं मार सकते yeah so we found one more instance Krishna knows. And then now there are different choices. Anybody can tell what are the different choices for Krishna to do. It could have gone Arjuna way, it could have gone Bhishma way. One way Arjuna was killed, if Bhishma would have won. And if Arjuna would have won, then Bhishma's promise was gone. One way Arjuna was at loss, other way Bhishma was at loss. Krishna says, both of you be glorious, I'll take the loss. Correct? Krishna spoiled his name, that he doesn't keep his promise. Krishna Prabhupada says, Krishna better be known as Bhakta Vatsala than be a so-called moralist of this world. Krishna is not so keen to be known as great man or this man. Krishna is happy to be known as protector of his devotees. So Krishna sacrificed.
Krishna promised to not keep. Put it in the Pandava. He promised to.
He said, I will kill unless Krishna lifts a weapon. Pandavas are dead. That was the thing he said. He said, he took a vow next day. Krishna would have taken the weapons himself. Otherwise, his friend Arjuna would die. See, that's the line. Unless Krishna lifts a weapon, Pandavas are dead. So he kept Bhishma's word. His honor was kept. Arjuna was protected. Krishna lost the name that he cannot keep his word. Krishna doesn't matter. So he took the negative to protect his devotees. Okay. Prerna Mataji, the new people who are joining, just
Yes,
can
Prabhu.
write to them. I don't know. I'll again put the picture one more time. Okay. Yes, from Sydney. Any comments? Yes, Prabhuji. Something. Always we end up with some interesting discussion. This is a very famous picture. Look at this. This is the meditation of Bhishma. He gave up his weapons and says, "Come." And Arjuna does not want the Lord to break his bow. And actually, he was not fully exerting himself. Therefore, Krishna was, you know, just he was hesitating. He's a noble soul. How can he use his all weapons against Bhishma? He was also not fighting to his full potential. So, in fact, he fought to his potential on the day after the death of Abhimanyu. And in one day, he destroyed half the army of the Kauravas. In one day. That was the power of Arjuna. And he was holding himself as a noble person. When he sees Dronacharya, when he sees Bhishma, and how can he throw his weapons? He was as a noble person holding himself. But after the Abhimanyu death, which was unjustified, he was wanted to kill that. What is the name? What is the name of the person he wanted to kill? Vishnu. What is the name? Vishnu.
Draupadi's brother.
Huh? What is the name of the person who was responsible for the death of Abhimanyu?
For Abhimanyu,
Abhimanyu's death, somebody was responsible. Arjuna took a vow, I'll kill him. Huh? Jayadratha, yes, yes, Jayadratha. And then he came to his full potential. And then this was one more time he is instigating. Krishna is actually, Arjuna says, I'll fight to my capacity. Then Krishna knows his capacity is much more. He's not coming to his full power. Therefore, Krishna, arrange this arc again. See how is he holding Krishna? No, I'll use my weapons. That's a quite natural behavior of Arjuna. Yes. It changes. Yes, any other discussion? Prerna Mataji, you wanted to say something? Okay, we go to the next verse.
Prabhu, I had read somewhere that though the Lord killed so many asuras in his childhood, he did not really feel the pleasure of fight. Prabhu, am I audible?
Yeah. Who? Arjuna?
No, no, Krishna.
Okay.
So though he fought so many demons and he killed so many demons throughout his childhood, but he never felt the pleasure of fighting. So the pleasure of fighting can be provided to the Lord only by his devotees. So that's why the Lord took so much pleasure in fighting with Bhishma and even in fighting with Jambavan.
Okay. 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 A real pleasure comes when the devotee comes to give him a taste of fighting. Yeah. You understood, Ravi? Krishna wants the pleasure of fighting. And so many demons came, Krishna killed Bakasura, Putana. Well, Krishna didn't really enjoy that much. But he enjoyed fighting with Bhishma. He enjoyed fighting with Jambavan. Another place was Jambavan. Jambavan was that Samantaka jewel. That time Krishna enjoyed fighting. Krishna enjoys fighting when his devotee comes to give him a pleasure. And with demons, it's like a second he finishes it off. With Jambavan, he fought for so many days.
28 days.
He was enjoying for 28 days. Mahabharata war got over in 18 days. On all this Putana Agasura in minutes, Krishna finished it. The Jambavan 28 days he had fun. Right? Even Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu being Jaya Vijaya gave him great pleasure. Yes, Suhas, very interesting point. Come. Here. The point is this, that the pleasure of fighting, Krishna did not really enjoy when he killed so many demons. Putana, Agasura, Bakasura, blah, blah. But he really enjoyed when Bhishma was throwing arrows at him. Or when he fought with Jambavan for 28 days. When devotees fight with Krishna, that is more pleasurable. Demons, Krishna finishes in a second. There is no. The devotees are actually giving the pleasure to him for fighting. Yeah. Okay. There's so many people, I think 8, 9 people are there now, Prerna, and they just not able to figure out how to be part of video conference. Isn't it? To join? Yeah, just type. I don't know whether it's seen or not. I write.
Okay.
You just say welcome Sushi. Now press on the video sign.
Yeah, Prabhu, I'll do that.
Shita Vishikahato Vishinadam Saha Shataja Paripluta Adataino Savam Avishachara Mat Vidhartham Sambhavatu me Bhagavan Gatir Mukundaha. May He, Lord Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead who awards salvation, be my ultimate destination. On the battlefield, He charged me as if angry because of the wounds dealt by my sharp arrow. His shield was scattered. His body was smeared with blood due to the wounds. Prabhuji, like to read.
May He, Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who awards salvation, be my ultimate destination. On the battlefield, he charged me as if angry because of the wounds dealt by my sharp arrows. His shield was scattered, and his body was smeared with blood due to the wounds.
Yeah, continue. Yeah.
The dealings of Lord Krishna and Bhishma Deva on the battlefield of Kurukshetra are interesting because the activities of Lord Sri Krishna appeared to be partial to Arjuna and had enmity with Bhishma Deva. But factually, all this was especially meant to show special favor to Bhishma Deva, a great devotee of the Lord. The astounding feature of such dealings is that a devotee can please the Lord by playing the part of an enemy. The Lord, being absolute, can accept service from his pure devotees, even in the garb of an enemy. The Supreme Lord cannot have any enemy, nor can a so-called enemy harm him because he is Ajita or unconquerable. But still he takes pleasure when his pure devotees beats him like an enemy or rebukes him from a superior position, although no one can be superior to the Lord. These are some of the transcendental reciprocatory dealings of the devotee with the Lord, and those who have no information of pure devotional service cannot penetrate into the mystery of such dealings. Bhishma Deva played the part of a valiant warrior, and he purposely pierced the body of the Lord, so that to the common eyes it appeared that the Lord was wounded, but factually all this was to bewilder the non-devotees. The all spiritual body cannot be wounded, and a devotee cannot become the enemy of the Lord. Had it been so, Bhishmadeva would not have desired to have the very same Lord as the ultimate destination of his life. Had Bhishmadeva been an enemy of the Lord, Lord Krishna could have annihilated him without even moving. There was no need to come before Bhishmadeva with blood and wounds. But he did so because the warrior devotee wanted to see the transcendental beauty of the Lord decorated with wounds created by a poor pure devotee. This is the way of exchanging transcendental rasa or relations between the Lord and the servitor. By such dealings, both the Lord and the devotees become glorified in their respective positions. The Lord was so angry that Arjuna checked him when he was moving towards Bhishmadeva. But in spite of Arjuna's checking, he proceeded towards Bhishmadeva as a lover goes to a lover without caring for hindrances. Apparently, his determination was to kill Bhishmadeva, but factually it was to please him as a great devotee of the Lord. The Lord is undoubtedly the deliverer of all conditioned souls. The impersonalists desire salvation from him, and he always awards them according to their aspiration. But here Vishwadeva aspires to see the Lord in his personal feature. All pure devotees aspire for this.
The pure devotees aspire to see the Lord in a personal feature. He said Krishna was rushing towards Bhishma, even though Arjuna was holding, as a lover goes to lover without caring for hindrances. And all the hindrances, people still proceed, and Krishna was giving towards Bhishma. This is a different rasa of shaurya, chivalry. Therefore, difficult for us to understand the position of Bhishma, but we can see how he's enjoying. And then Prabhupada said there is no question of his being an enemy. Had it been so, why will he try to have Krishna as the destination of his life? Why will Krishna come at his deathbed? No, that is not possible. And Krishna could have killed Bhishma without he was having all the wounds and all this drama. Astounding feature of the dealing, the devotee can please the Lord by playing the part of an enemy. So bhakti is not small, bhakti is very detailed, not easy to understand. तो भक्ति को इतना छोटा नहीं है, भगवान को खाली पूजा करना, भगवान से लड़ना भी भक्ति है. There are so many things. Like so many times we say the gopis are using sarcastic comments to Krishna. We know what you do. You did this, you did that. And Krishna was enjoying that more than the praises by the Brahmanas chanting the Vedas. Mother Yashoda was trying to beat Krishna with a stick, and Krishna enjoyed that more than that. Balaram also, I was discussing this, interestingly, sometimes takes a position opposite. But it is also to give pleasure to Krishna. Okay, so there is nowhere we see that. That is bhakti, that they are actually teaching us what is bhakti. Vijaya, yes. Yeah, that's what, yeah. Somebody give him mic, yeah. The whole idea here is not to run through the shlokas, but to discuss. Yeah.
Krishna. Is there any previous incarnation story of Bhishma Deva where Lord is fulfilling his desires that Bhishma Deva wants? Because most of they have got this kind of thing. Just wanted to. I don't know.
Anybody knows Bhishma participated in any other Leela in another way. One okay, when Krishna comes, he comes as Bhishma, and that is Nitya Leela. But in any other Leela has he participated in some other capacity? Bhishma is one of the Vasus. So you'll have to see them that they have participated in that.
Prabhu, what I have
yeah, what you read?
what I've heard is that Bhishma is actually one of the eternal associates of the Lord, and an amsha of Bhishma and an amsha of Vasu together become the son of Ganga Devi. So one in Bhishma, who is fighting right now with Krishna. One Amsha is of the Vasu, which is who is a demigod, and one Amsha is of the eternal companion of Lord. He is eternal.
Correct. You know how we understand this? You're correct on this. Because your Pandavas are like that.
Yeah.
One day they were all, part of the Devatas, which they came. Also another combination from the spiritual world. They're actually eternal spirits, the Pandavas. Therefore, you see, the Pandavas, they behave more than the Devatas. They're behaving like very exalted devotees. Even Yudhishthira Maharaj, when you read in Bhagavatam or in Krishna book, he's crying out of ecstasy. Even Bhima, Nakula, Sahadeva, they're showing great devotional symptoms, which are more than generally a Devata will have. You know, Devata, they get appointment letter from Krishna, they do their job. But they don't show some intense devotional ecstasies which are prerogative only of pure devotees. Pure devotees can have, only when a heart is very pure, you can have the intense devotional sentiments. But Pandavas do show intense devotional sentiments. Similarly, Bhishma, if you are just a Vasu, would not have shown this level of ecstasy when he is leaving the body. That shows is also a combination. Quite true. Even Pandavas are a combination. One is from the spiritual world, eternal devotee, plus one part of the Devata, Indra or blah blah as an incarnation. Combination is Arjuna. Same with the 5 Pandavas are also a combination. I also read that. When it is true for Pandavas, definitely true, also will be true for Bhishma. Because they are all demigods are all requested to take birth because Lord Krishna is coming, so they came to participate. But the chief positions which were participated, the demigods were joined by a pure devotee. Now, how does the
I have
combination?
read even the Yadus also were actually partially demigods and partially associates of Krishna.
Yeah, maybe possible. Okay. But how does the combination occurs? That is beyond our capacity to understand. Just like even Advaita Acharya is a combination of Sadashiva and Mahavishnu. ये कैसे होता है combination? It is beyond our capacity, but it is said sometimes. Even Ramananda Rai is also a combination of a Sakhi and Arjuna. Arjuna, okay, we got an instant. Arjuna participated in pastime of Lord Chaitanya. Did Bhishma come in Lord Chaitanya's pastime? Anybody has read Navadip Mahatmya, they will be able to know. In Lord Chaitanya pastime, practically everybody was there. You have gone, when you go to Navadip, you will come. When you go to the pilgrimage, each place expanded. And Navadip Dham Mahatmya has come from Nityananda Prabhu. He took Jiva Goswami on a tour. And then there is later Bhaktivinoda Thakur in ecstasy saw the whole Navadip Dham. So so many people combination. The book is the Navadip Dham Mahatmya. You can read that book. Interestingly, practically everybody is there in Lord Chaitanya. Prahlad Maharaj is there, Hanuman is there, all the 4 Vaishnava acharyas are there. Unbelievable. Everybody, because the sweetest form of the Lord, why they will not shine? If you are a pure devotee and Lord is coming as a devotee, you will want to be part of that sweetest pastime of the Lord. So Bhishma, one place is there, because Bhishma got connected in this way. Jahnavi, it is called Ganga. So there was Jana Muni. You read this, Prerna Mataji? There is
No, this I don't know.
Jana Muni, and he was doing his puja. Achman and his puja was doing. So Bhagirathi was bringing the river Ganges. So what happened was, as he was doing his puja, the water of the river, took his Achman cup away. So he got so irritated, he was so powerful, he swallowed the whole river. So the Bhagirathi begged him. So then it came out of he gave it back. So in that way it took birth from him. So he became the father of Ganges now. And Bhishma is a son of Ganges, Ganga Putra. So he became the grandson of Janamuni. So he came to Navadip to have darshan of Janamuni. And there is a pastime there. There is a Navadip Dhamma Bhishma visited. Some interesting. Even that connection to this thing, Leela, when the Radha Kund, Shyam Kund were being excavated, if you've gone to Vrindavan, there were 5 trees next to the Radha Kund. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu excavated that, Raghunath Das Goswami later wanted to build it, and he had no money. So some great wealthy person visited Badrinaran. So when he visited Badrinaran, Badrinaran came in his dream. All the wealth take and help Raghunath Das Goswami build the Radhakund. Because see, Radhakund had to be built, no? It was just discovered. All the banks had to be built down the world. So he came there. So when I think Sham Kund, when they were building, because Radhakund you see is very neat. Sham Kund is not so big. So because there are 5 trees there. When they're cutting the trees, immediately some the dream or something they came to know, don't touch the Pandavas there. All the trees. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. In the beginning of this talk, if you can go,
Yeah.
Bhishma Deva is seeking salvation.
This purport or the previous one?
So, I mean, we understand and read that salvation is kind of a mukti.
Okay, may he Lord Shri Krishna personality who awards salvation.
Bhishma Deva is seeking
Yeah,
salvation.
he is seeking to pure devotee. Let us see the word. Who awards salvation?
What is
No, he is not saying give me salvation. Who awards salvation? Shida Vishika Hato Vishnu. Let's see the exact word. Mukunda, yeah. Oh, he has used the word Mukunda. That's okay. Mukunda is a word which meaning is mukti. Mukti, who gives mukti. Mukti as it is lotus fit. Mukti pade sadaya bhag. Mukti, he is a giver of salvation. That's okay. Suppose we have used the word Mukunda, you cannot say, why did you use Mukunda? You don't want salvation. No, that's the name of the word. Mukti. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji. कन्नड़ा इंग्लिश चलता है ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ what to do I should know Kannada but I don't know okay hey Kannada speaker come here you understood today you're not next sloka you understand I will request you to briefly then summarize sure. Here too there are so many all are Kannada only Mataji a mic is with you just summarize this Bhishma thing till now just 2 minutes Kannada they will understand later okay after this shloka just be alert just maybe 1 minute so that Kannada people can understand okay Vijayarata kutumba atatotre Vidhaya rashmini chak chirikshamiye Bhagavati ratirastu me mumoshuho Nireksha hatagataha sarupam. At the moment of the death, let my ultimate attraction be to Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. I concentrate my mind upon the chariot driver Arjuna, who stood with a whip in his right hand and a bridle rope in his left, who was very careful to give protection to Arjuna's chariot by all means. Those who saw him on the battlefield of Kurukshetra attain original form after death. Where is the mic? Somebody, Mataji, for you.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. A pure devotee of the Lord constantly sees the presence of the Lord within himself because of being transcendentally related by loving service. Such a pure devotee cannot forget the Lord for a moment. This is called trance. The mystic tries of concentrate upon the super soul by controlling the senses from all other engagements, and thus he ultimately attains samadhi. A devotee more easily attains samadhi or trance by constantly remembering the Lord's personal feature along with his holy name, fame, pastimes, etc. Therefore, the concentration of the mystic yogi and that of the devotee are not on the same level. The concentration of mystic is mechanical, whereas that of pure devotee is natural in pure love and spontaneous affection. Vishwadeva was a pure devotee, and as a military marshal, he constantly remembered the battlefield feature of the Lord as a Parthasarathi, the chariot the driver of Arjuna. Therefore, the Lord's pastime as Parthasarathi is also eternal. The pastime of the Lord, beginning from his birth at the prison house of Kamsa up to the Mausala, Mausalila at the end, all move one after another in all the universes, just as the clock hand moves from one point to another. And in such pastimes, his associates like the Pandavas and Bhishma are constant eternal companions. So Vishwadeva never forgot the beautiful features of the Lord as Parthasarathi, which even Arjuna could not see. Arjuna was behind the beautiful Parthasarathi while Bhishmadeva was just in front of the Lord. As far as the military feature of the Lord is concerned, Bhishmadeva observed this with more relish than Arjuna. All the soldiers and the persons on the battlefield of Kurukshetra attained their original spiritual form like the Lord after their death because by the causeless mercy of the Lord they were able to see him face to face on that occasion. The conditioned souls rotating in the evolutionary cycle from the aquatics up to the form of Brahma are all in the form of Maya or the form obtained by one's own action and awarded by material nature. The material form of the conditioned souls are all foreign dresses, and when the conditioned soul becomes liberated from the clutches of the material energy, he attains his original form. The impersonalist wants to attain the impersonal Brahman effulgence of the Lord, but that is not at all congenial to the living sparks, parts and parcels of the Lord. Therefore, the impersonalists again fall down and get material forms, which are all false to the spirit soul. The spiritual form, like the Lord's, either two-handed or four-handed, is attained by devotees of the Lord, either in the Vaikunthas or in the Goloka planet. According to the original nature of the this form which is 100% spiritual is the Savarupa of the living being, and all the beings who participated on the battlefield of the Kurukshetra on both sides attained their Shavarupa as confirmed by Vishwadeva. So Lord Krishna, Sri Krishna was not merciful only to the Pandavas. He was also merciful to the other parties because all of them attained the same result. Vishwadeva wanted the same facility also, and that was his prayer to the Lord. Although his position as an associate of the Lord is assured in the circumstances, the conclusion is that whoever dies looking on the personality of Godhead within or without attaining the Shavarupa, which is the highest perfection of life. Very beautiful.
Yeah. And this Bhishma Deva was so sweet is that at the same facility, he said all the people, they got Sarupa. Because, and let me also, so all the people died seeing Krishna, let me also get the chance. So Krishna came on his deathbed. And this is, I think I just saw some calculation. But also most of the parties, Krishna was merciful to everybody, not that he helped somebody and somebody was at loss, everybody is benefited. Yeah, we read this part where the Bhishma constant companions on an eternal pastime. So he never forgot the beautiful form of Parthasarthi, which even Arjuna could not see. Arjuna was on the backside. So it was for Bhishma to fight with him and throw arrows at, they used to throw arrows even at the Sarthi. Throw arrows at Sarthi and take the pleasure of, Krishna charging at him sometimes. And Prabhupada says that he wants samadhi, but easy, no? Impersonal what is a samadhi? Prabhupada says that's nonsense, that doesn't work. But here it is, he can remember the past time. How do you remember somebody? You can remember the past time. Name, form, paraphernalia, past time, remember the past time. It's easy to remember. The concentration mystic is mechanical, and whereas the pure devotee is natural. And Bhishma Deva as a military marshal, that is the mode he is having. Constantly remember the battlefield feature of the Lord as a Parthasarthi chariot driver. You see, the most of the prayers are on Parthasarthi feature, which is meditated. Then there's the first line, look at it. Pure devotee to the Lord constantly sees the presence of the Lord within himself because of being transcendently related by a loving service. Because when you develop love, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Mana Mana, always remember me. But that's not possible unless you love. You cannot think of somebody unless you love him all the time. Correct? It's not possible artificially think, hold him. Unless you love it is not possible. At this stage, Prabhupada said, therefore, thinking all the time in chanting Hare Krishna. Right? Thinking of Krishna means chanting Hare Krishna. Because there's no love now. That is our expression. But as the love develops, then you cannot think. Constantly you're thinking of the Lord only. And then Krishna takes care. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana pariyupaste tesham nityavinuktaram yogakshema. If somebody is constantly thinking about the Lord, Ananyas chintayanto mam, then Krishna will personally maintain. Like Prahlad Maharaj was personally even fed by the Lord. He was just thinking about the Lord. Smarana is the perfection of Smarana. And all he did was that. And Krishna was personally bathing him, dressing him, feeding him. He was took care of him like a father. So if we have constant Smarana of the Lord, we will be taken care of him. Okay, so this is not mechanical.
Krishna. Now, here in this purport, now it's being said that basically the impersonalists, they want to merge into the impersonal Brahman form, which is not congenial to the living entity. So two questions. I mean, why? One is of course that reciprocation of loving relationship is not there. So this kind of liberation is not congenial. That's one understanding of what I'm getting. But then why does this intelligence is not there to them, that there is a personal form? That why this? I mean, they're also yogis. They're also yogis. They are also spiritually evolved. But why do they want to negate that there is a personal form of God?
I think personal form of the Lord is only revealed by pure devotee. See, Krishna can be all merciful, but he wants to make his devotees more merciful than him. So unless they meet a pure devotee, his mercy they can get. Krishna is tadavidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadakshanti te jnanam jnanena tattva. See, Krishna, it's not that Krishna cannot break this rule, but generally it doesn't do it. If you want Krishna, you have to go to a pure devotee, he will give you.
So next question arises then.
So these impersonalists have on their own strength, without meeting a pure devotee, you can reach only to the impersonalism. Unless they meet a pure devotee who carries the love of Krishna in his heart, the personal feature will not be revealed.
At what point of time does the meet pure devotee?
That is the causeless mercy pure devotee. He has to.
That is his prerogative.
Therefore, there's no Krishna se tomara Krishna dite paro. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Krishna is yours and you can give him. So therefore, therefore Prabhupada distribute my books, book marathon, right? Pure devotee's heart is there, is beating for Krishna. So even an impersonalist read, he will develop some, some appreciation of Krishna, and then he come to pure devotion. I think most of us are in impersonalists only before, either atheist or impersonalist. Nirvishesha, Shunyavadi, Pashadadeshta. Either we were atheists or impersonalist before he came to Krishna consciousness. So
somewhere from personal my realization, it all appeared to be a speculative knowledge. I mean, there is no actual exchange of relationships in that knowledge. It's just theoretical. This
theoretical. Prabhupada says without, unless we take the descending form of knowledge, you will not come to Krishna's personality because unbelievable. How can somebody be? That's what the first problem the impersonalists have when you say God as a form. They say, how can somebody as a form and be present everywhere? It's not logical by any material conception. So unless they hear descending way that actually God is beyond you, and how do you break through Kupa Manduka Nyaya? Unless you accept that there is something higher and we learn by hearing. Many
Yogis, after so much of efforts they do, I think much more, mechanically, they do a lot of hard work to reach that level and ultimately merge into the Brahma Jyoti. They cannot be with the Lord in the vacuum time.
The point is making that actually they make more effort than devotees.
Yeah, mechanically they are.
The effort is
much
more. Much more. No, even you take the impersonalists in India, even today, they learn Sanskrit first. We cannot talk to them. They speak Sanskrit. They know so much Shastra, so much shlokas. You cannot debate with them. They will confuse you with their. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Mayavada Bhasha Sune, don't hear. You will get confused. No. But the example is of Prahlad Maharaj and Hiranyakashipu. What austerity Prahlad Maharaj did? Just saying Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. What austerity Hiranyakashipu did? He stood on 2 toes for unlimited time. But what is the result? He got killed by Narasimhadeva and he got glorified in the history. So I think it's because he met Narada. That was the fortune of Prahlad Maharaj. And he took his shelter and heard him of discipline. Hiranyakashipu also would have met Narada, was to meet everybody, all important people. But he never took blessing of pure bhakti from Narada. I think so. The central figure comes the mercy of a pure devotee. He carries Krishna. See, all that happened to us. How did we become devotee? We were all hearing so many praises, so many people. 1,000 people were hearing, 1,000 people were hearing. Somehow, with respect, I don't know what reason, that was our fortune. We heard the words of a pure devotee. We read a book, or some devotee was preaching, we just heard him with respect for some reason. That was our fortune. And Lavamatara Sadhu Sangha services, our spiritual life started. We felt some joy, spiritual joy. Therefore we are running so far, isn't it? I think that is where our personal feature of the Lord got revealed.
So does it mean that the individual soul does not have different efforts? So just pure mercy of Supreme Lord.
No.
So, but my efforts are not there.
The mercy you get.
What is the role of my effort then?
The pure devotee, that Krishna will see. True. Now the combination comes. Brahmanda Pramita Kono Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasadi Paya Bhakti Deda Beach. So see, if suppose your effort is not there, then Krishna is partial. Point is, you didn't pay the real price. Just like when devotees are struggling to get up from Mangalarti, Prabhupada used to say, how much tapasya people used to do previously. How much tapasya? Previously people used to, in the forest, sit down in water, ice cold water in the winter, just to control the senses. Put all around with fire, sit down in the middle, just to control the senses. Tremendous tapasya they used to do, somehow win over the senses, because senses are harassing. And here, we are getting an easy path. And just simple thing, get up early morning, which is good for health. Early to bed, early to rise makes a person healthy, wealthy. So all the austerities given to Prabhupada is actually very simple. But people are not willing to do. Prabhupada says, you really don't know what you are getting and what price is very small. So some price you are paying. And this is there in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes to Banaras, he says, I brought so much load with me from Jagannath Puri. He was symbolically saying about bhakti. There are no customers for this goods that I have brought. If people are ready to pay even a fraction of price, I am ready to give it. It's like a big billion sale. If they can pay one person, not even one person, 1 trillionth of that, but some price. Otherwise, you got Krishna Bhakti, your friend has not got. Sometimes the house you get, your wife doesn't get. So many people, but because they're not ready to pay that small price. but the price is definitely, what do you say, very small. There is another way to analyze that. Another way to analyze is that a non-devotee never gets mercy. A devotee gets mercy. But how did non-devotee become devotee? So unless you approach in a devotion submissive way, previously we were not submissive, we were revulsive, we were not interested. So somehow we became a little interested. So how the switch occurs? That is agyasukriti. Switch is agyat. Therefore, when you go home, many people are so, oh, my wife is not interested. No, give her some prasadam. Never do so. Some prasadam, give time. Agyasukriti, he has to accumulate enough agyasukriti, then he can proper say purchase Krishna. You get money, credit. Prabhupada says is not going waste. Very nicely Prabhupada says. Is that a small child paying obeisance? It's not going waste. It's counted. Credit. You come to the temple, you hear Bhagavatam class, credit. You pay obeisances, credit. You take beautiful darshan of the sea. To the beautiful decoration, credit. So you accumulate all that credit. And then after that, what happens? When all the credit accumulates, you get enough money to purchase Krishna. I think that is Kali Yuga, particularly Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very, very merciful. That money accumulated very small is needed. That we did somehow. There was one more time we did Aho Batos Pacho Vigariyani Yajivagri Vartate Nam Tavyam Tepas Tapas Juhu Sushnu Arya Brahma Anuchur Nam Gridanti Yete. So Prabhupada is explaining the meaning of the shloka. So Aho Bato, how wonderful it is. So Pacho Gariyan, look at this person. He is in a family of dog eater, Gariyan, he has become greater than a Brahmana. Yat Jivagri Vartate Namatu. Why? On his tip of the tongue, Vartate, the holy name of the Lord has not stayed. Not just once in a while chanting. His name is Vartate. Vartate means bad guy. Holy name, regionally, this name was carried. This person is not glorious. Tapas, he must have done tapas, all kind of tapasyas. Tapas tapas juhu, he must have done all kind of yagnas, all sacrifices. Suchnu, he must have taken bath in all the holy river. Arya, he's the most civilized person. Brahma Anuchu, he must have read all the Shastra. Why? Tavanam Grinanti, he's hearing the holy name, my Lord. So devotees ask Prabhupada, Prabhupada, they are born in the Western countries. Definitely we didn't have any punya, because if you are born in Punya Bhumi is India, not Bhoga Bhumi. We are born in different parts of the world. So we didn't have this punya, but we are so quickly taking it back. What is the reason? So Prabhupada said, I give you all the credit that you need by all this, bathing in the river, pure devotee can give you if you serve. Right? Otherwise, having taken bath in the rivers, having done so many things, it looks difficult. Correct? The Prabhupada said, I give you. So I think that is one more we can say. Somehow we served something, we did service in the mission. So that way, and Prabhupada said, what pleases the maximum? Distribution of his books. We distribute. And among Prabhupada said, two of my angas are the most powerful. One is the holy name, one is book distribution. By these two, I am conquering the world. Participate in Harinam, and it has participate in book distribution. So these two gives maximum mercy. And then Bhakti sprouts of, Brahad Vradanga. So we didn't pay any price, no, we paid small price. ठीक है ना प्रभु जी? थोड़ा तो हमने ये पूछ रहे हैं कि ऐसा कैसे हो गया कि आप बोल रहे हैं कि जो impersonalist होते हैं वो जो तपस कर रहे हैं उतना हम लोग नहीं कर पा रहे. वो तो संस्कृत सीखते हैं. अभी भी जो है impersonalist, आप चले जाओ शंकरा मठ चले जाओ श्रृंगेरी, बहुत तपस है उनका. वो तो खाना भी नहीं खा सकते, उनको तो रसगुल्ला रसमलाई रबड़ी नहीं खा सकते, तो बहुत तपस होता है उनका. ठीक है ना? वो कहीं प्रोग्राम में जाते हैं, वो बहुत तपस करना पड़ता है लोगों को. ये रूल होते हैं, इतने हजार रूल नहीं, उनका मतलब ऐसा तरीका है. और हम लोग तो कुछ भी नहीं होता, हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण. और हमको कृष्ण भक्ति मिल गया. हम ये बोल रहे थे कि शुद्ध भक्ति की कृपा मिली है, इसलिए हम उतनी तपस नहीं कर रहे, लेकिन शुद्ध भक्ति की कृपा मिली है. लेकिन शुद्ध भक्ति ने कृपा कैसे? कुछ किया हमने, ऐसा नहीं कुछ नहीं किया, कुछ किया. हम लोग थे 10 लोग थे, हमारा दोस्त नहीं आया, प्रोग्राम में बुलाया तो वो नहीं, हम गए. थोड़ा तपस किया, बट ये नहीं बोल सकते कि शुद्ध भक्ति को पाने का जो असली तपस हमने किया नहीं। और वैसे भी कलयुग में डिस्काउंट से गए थोड़ा, वी आर गेटिंग वेरी इजीली. That's many times it has been said. This was there when Haridas Thakur, the Durga comes to test Hari. Maya Devi personally comes to test Haridas Thakur. So that is, Haridas Thakur tested twice, once by the prostitute, then by the Maya Devi herself, Chaitanya Chaitanya. So when she tests him, and he again comes out victorious. The second time he is victorious, he is chanting, and the Durga Devi takes blessing. He says, "Give me Diksha. I want Krishna Nama because my husband Lord Shiva gave me only Rama Nama. Lord God revealed Shiva is a Ram Bhakta. Give me Krishna Nama." So he blesses her, gives her Krishna Nama. And she says at that time, now Lord Chaitanya mission is running. If somebody does not take benefit of this mission, for billions of births he cannot be delivered. That means how difficult it is to get delivered. Now it's very easy. If somebody does not take benefit, therefore we should become very serious. Understand? Now Lord Chaitanya mission is running very easy to taste Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, to overcome the senses, overcome the anxiety of the material life, to be able to chant the holy name of the Lord, to feel the taste in that, take pleasure reading Bhagavatam, we will not be able to cross over the difficulties and taste it. Correct? And I think we are easily able to do it because of mercy of Lord Chaitanya. She says billions of births they cannot be delivered who don't take benefit now. In any way, we also know it will get over within 10,000 years. Suppose you take little Krishna consciousness, then you become Devata. When you come back, or you go to Devaloka, whatever. When you come back, 10,000 years are over, and real Kali Yuga has started where people are eating each other. You're in trouble. Yeah, continue. No, this is a discussion. We are not in that we have to finish the shlokas. Yeah.
So we are talking basically two things. One is Sukruti, we are talking accumulated over previous lifetimes, and second is mercy of the Supreme Lord. Now, third thing that is just clarification. We say it's been mentioned that Bhakti Devi is independent. She doesn't need any Sukruti to manifest. She comes by her own sweet will. So, what is the connection?
Now we're trying to analysis. There is one we said was causeless mercy. There is, let's say, no, we can become Siddha, Sadhana Siddha. One is Nitya Siddha. Nitya Siddha means the great acharyas. They come from the spiritual world. And then just like Arjuna, these are all Nitya Siddhas. And like Bhishma. Then we can have Sadhana Siddhas, or doing sadhana, they get mercy. There is one more than Kripa Siddha. That's the wish. They said that Bali Maharaj became great devotee because of Kripa of Prahlad Maharaj. His grandson.
Because he also need bhakti.
And he gave. He gave.
He gave.
And he can give you.
Until he had.
No, but he can give. That's what he's saying. If he wants, he can give. Kripa Siddha. Huh?
Without praying, can we have Kripa Siddhi?
That's what Kripa Siddhi. Kripa Siddhi means. Sadhana Siddha is purity of tapasya. There are three kinds of siddhas. Now you understand what is Kripa Siddha. Sadhana Siddha means he did tapasya. Krishna was pleased. Guru was pleased. He got mercy. That is called Sadhana Siddha. And the Nitya Siddha is always a Siddha. The end is one more variety is called Kripa Siddha.
Kripa means daya.
Daya. I think Kali Yuga is more of Kripa only. All of us are Kripa only. I don't think we did, who can say we did properly Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. None. Neither we did sadhana properly, neither we are Nitya Siddha. I think we are all Kripa only case. Special discount. I think Kripa Siddha means definitely some sadhana will be there, but it's almost negligible. So the Kripa component is more. Then it will be, otherwise you are saying Bhakti can manifest wherever it wants. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to hug anybody, he used to dance in ecstasy. There are some instances, no? Huh?
Yes, Chaitanya
Well,
anyone.
and that person used to become mad in spiritual ecstasy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to tell when he was traveling village to village to chant Hare Krishna. The person said Hare Krishna. Chaitanya, that's not enough. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, oh, so wonderful. And he will be mad in ecstasy. And he'll go home. And he will be Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. By seeing him, by talking to him, they'll become Krishna Bhaktas. And that's how chain reaction started. Huh? Yeah, so this you have to ask an expert. Just little emphasis. Okay. Yes, Prerna Mataji, you have been silent sometime.
Can you hear me, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Yeah, Prabhu, I was just thinking that like in devotional service, one need not be a stereotype. Just like Bhishma wanted to please Krishna by fighting with him. So accordingly, you can serve Krishna based on your capabilities and your degree of devotion. And I think based on your degree of devotion only, that particular kind of liberation is also awarded. In this purport, Prabhupada writes that Bhishma Deva wanted the Swarupa aspect of liberation. So, like there are six kinds of liberation, and Bhishma Deva desired the Swarupa liberation. So, I think it's also how you want to serve the Lord and what type of liberation you desire. So, the Lord grants you that accordingly.
Mukti hitva anata rupam sarupena vavastitihi. So there are, but let us see
Six
what.
types.
Let us see. Five. One
Six,
is
no, Prabhu.
five. Okay,
Okay.
start the five ones. One is Sayuja Mukti.
One
Then
is one is merging
very
into the effulgence of the Lord, Sayujya. Then
then
you live on the same planet. You live in the
Samipya.
Goloka,
Samipya.
Salokya, and
Salokya.
then you attain the same form of the Lord, that is Sarupya,
Yes.
and then you attain the same opulences of
That
the
is
Lord, that is
Samipya.
Sarashti.
Then that is
Sarashti.
no. That's okay. Sashti same opulence. See, this is
Sarashti, and then you live, and then you remain as a close associate of the God, of the Lord, that is Samipya.
yes. Okay, that's
Uh,
5, 6 not okay. But
5.
Sarupa and Sarupya are different, no?
Swar-
Sarupya, Sarupa and Sarupya, they're different word. Sarupa means
okay,
the original identity. You know?
okay,
You may be the Lord's associate, so you will get that mukti. You understand? You may be in
okay,
the same planet. You may be the Krishna's deer. Yesterday we were seeing the beautiful pastime Krishna with the gopis, and you're thinking what the deer is doing there. So that is his nature. And Krishna does Rascala, he stands and watches. He gets a chance. So maybe you are one of them. Correct?
okay. So this and that is different. So, Sarupya is different from Swarupa.
Yeah. Sarupa is your original identity.
Okay.
See, you don't know what's your original identity, no?
Yes.
Mukti hitva anatha rupam sarupena. This is another word. Mukti hitva. Your original identity of the Lord is. Okay. Yesterday we were seeing this picture. So beautiful picture. Yeah. We were reading about Ras Leela and we were just looking at this picture. Unimaginably beautifully done. This shows, we say the Ras Leela is spiritual. This is spiritual. It is not some boy girls hugging each other. You see the way they are approaching Krishna with folded hands, with the desire to serve Krishna. You can see this, correct? And the deer is there. You're looking at the deer. What is it? Maybe your Sarupa is a deer. You get a chance to watch the whole Rasalila. Maybe the peacock, he also says, okay, you do Rasalila, but I want to just have a look at it. Hello, back to the book. We still have 40 minutes left. So Bhishma is very humble as a devotee. He wants the same facility. He also wants, let me also attain my original position in the spiritual world, okay, which may be Lalita Gati Vilas Valguhasa Pranaya Nirikshana Kalpitoro Manaha Kritamanu Kritavatya Unmadandaha Prakritim Agana Kilaya Segopavadvaha Let the mind be fixed upon Lord Shri Krishna, whose motions, the smiles of love attracted the damsels of Brajadham, the gopis. The damsel imitated the characteristic movement of the Lord after disappearance from the rasa dance.
Offered by Srila Prabhupada. By intense ecstasy in loving service, the damsels of Vrindavan, Vrindavan, attained qualitative oneness with the Lord by dancing with Him at His pleasure, embracing Him in nuptial love, smiling at Him in joy, and looking at Him with the loving attitude. The relation of the Lord with Arjuna is undoubtedly praiseworthy for devotees like Bhishma Deva, but the relation of the gopis with the Lord is still more praiseworthy because of their still more purified loving service. By the grace of the Lord, Arjuna was fortunate enough to have the fraternal service of the Lord as a chariot driver. But the Lord did not award Arjuna with equal strength. Gopis, however, practically became one with the Lord by attainment of equal footing with the Lord. Bhishma's aspiration to remember the gopis is a prayer to have their mercy also at the last stage of his life. The Lord is satisfied more when his pure devotees are glorified, and therefore Vishnu has not only glorified the acts of Arjuna, his immediate object of attraction, but has also remembered the gopis who were endowed with unrivaled opportunities by rendering loving service to the Lord. The gopis' equality with the Lord should never be misunderstood to be like a Sayuja liberation of the impersonalist. The equality is one of perfect ecstasy where the different concepts quickly eradicated for the interest of the lover and the beloved identical.
Okay, interest on identity. So now he wants so the gopis when Krishna disappears from the Rasa Leela, everybody knows. The gopis feel they're so fortunate, they feel a bit pride. They're so special. Krishna doesn't like that. Therefore, whenever we are doing any service to Krishna, we should never feel I'm special when it's gone. Because it's Krishna's mercy you're doing that. You know? That I'm special, if that comes in, that's called pride. It's a big topic. Pride is not easy, different dimensions. Yeah. But pride means false ego, taking credit where it doesn't lie. And then what happens? Krishna takes away the devotion service. You lose devotion service. When pride, after pride, offenses happen. Once offenses happen, devotion service is destroyed. So this pride is the one. Krishna is giving an example because gopis are the eternal spheres. There is no question of pride. They felt we are so fortunate. We are the most special woman. Krishna took away, it disappeared from the scene. And then what happened? The gopis started searching for Krishna, and they became almost mad. They started so much pain they were feeling of separation. They started imitating Krishna pastimes, Putana Leela, Gasura. Somehow they're getting some healing by remembering all that. And then they became mad totally. They were asking trees, have you seen Krishna? They were asking, yesterday we were reading night this. They were asking the animals, birds, have you seen? Have you seen? They're almost total madness. And then finally they see the footprints of Krishna and they start following it. Then they see one more footprints. And they understand Krishna kept one gopi with him. Even though he left us, he didn't leave Radharani. And then they're feeling a bit envious. But they saw this, she must be yesterday night, she must be very special. Otherwise, why will Krishna be with her? And then they see that Krishna has left her also by footprint, they can understand. And then they feel sad for her. And then they see Radharani sitting there. And then they together, Prabhupada says, they all start chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. So the gopis, their intensity of their love for Krishna, unparalleled. Therefore, Prabhupada says, unrivaled opportunity of rendering loving service. Their love for Krishna is unparalleled. Nobody can compare to the love of Radharani to Krishna, highest. So we cannot reach that, but at least we can be pure and do Krishna consciousness. Then it will start entering in our heart. So Bhishma is also wishing for mercy of the gopis who became totally in. It is natural. When we think about somebody too much, we start imitating that person. You know, notice that? Think about person, just small children, they just imitate. You know, we think about anybody, we start imitating. So the gopis are in total samadhi of Krishna. In that way, they started imitating Krishna. Not that Prabhupada said they became Krishna. No. The interest of the lover and beloved become identical. That's oneness. The equal footing. Equal strength. Yeah, anything on this?
What is the Ayodhya liberation? It is
No, there are different Sayuja, Samipya, Saloka, Sashti, Sarupya. Sayuja means merging. Merging means the Atma just becomes part of Brahmajyoti. I am that. The Brahmajyoti is Atmas. I am that. So the people generally in this meditate on Lord Shiva. Sayuja Bhakti. So I am that, I am that. Aham Brahmasmi, that only their meditation. Tattvamasi, these are the Mahavakyas. And Kleshodhikarastesham are very difficult. Now here it was very easy to understand this thing, but how difficult it to understand what is not manifest. We said talk about God and describe you. What do you talk? Then why talk? Then why talk? Inconceivable, undescribable, there's so many unangle there. The Prabhupada says by that you can know what God is not, but what it is, you never know. He remained in Brahmacharya. Basically, what we analyze, he didn't get mercy to enter the spiritual world. He remains in Brahmacharya. So the gopis are very fortunate to get the gopis' equality not compared to Savija liberation. Savija means they become one. Prabhupada said devotee become one in interest. Just like a peacock entering a green peacock entering green tree. It looks like he became one, it doesn't become one. Goes and he still maintains his identity. Okay. Munigana Nipavarya Shakula Antaha. Munigana Nipavarya Shankule Antaha. Sadasi Yudhishthira Rajasuya Esham. Arhanamupapeda Ikshaniyo. Mama Dishi Gochara Esha Aviratma. You will read? Yeah. At the Rasuya sacrifice, yeah, get ready for reading the purport. That I read. Read the purport. At the Rasuya sacrifice performed by Maharaj Yudhishthira, they were the greatest assembly of all the elite men of the world. The royal and learned, get the mind. The royal and the learned orders, and in that great assembly, Lord Shri Krishna was worshipped by one and all as the most exalted personality Godhead. This happened during my prison. I remember the incident in order to keep my mind upon the Lord. Yeah.
After gaining victory in the battle of Kurukshetra, Maharaja Yudhishthira, the emperor of the world, performed the Rajasuya sacrificial ceremony. The emperor in those days, upon his ascendance to the throne, would send a challenge horse all over the world to declare his supremacy. And any ruling prince or king was at liberty to accept the challenge and express his tacit willingness either to obey or to disobey the supremacy of the particular emperor. One who accepted the challenge had to fight with the emperor and establish his own supremacy by victory. The defeated challenger would have to sacrifice his life, making a place for another king or ruler. So Maharaja Yudhishthira also dispatched such challenging horses all over the world, and every ruling prince and king all over the world accepted Maharaja Yudhishthira as a leadership as the emperor of the world. After this, all rulers of the world under the regime of Maharaja Yudhishthira were invited to participate in the great sacrificial ceremony of Rajasuya. Such performances required hundreds of millions of dollars, and it was not an easy job for a petty king. Such a sacrificial ceremony, being too expensive and also difficult to perform under present circumstances, is now impossible in this age of Kali. Nor can anyone secure the required expert priesthood to take charge of this ceremony. So, after being invited, all the kings and great learned sages of the world assembled in the capital of Maharaja Yudhishthira. The learned society, including the great philosophers, religionists, physicians, scientists, and all great sages, was invited. That is to say, the Brahmanas and the Kshatriyas were the topmost leading men in society, and they were all invited to participate in the assembly. The Vaishyas and Shudras were unimportant elements in society, and they are not mentioned herein. Due to the change of social activities in the modern age, the importance of men has also changed in terms of occupational positions. So, in that great assembly, Lord Sri Krishna was the cynosure of neighboring eyes. Everyone wanted to see Lord Krishna, and everyone wanted to pay his humble respects to the Lord. Bhishma Deva remembered all this and was glad that his worshipful Lord, the personality of Godhead, was present before him in his actual formal presence. So, to meditate on the Supreme Lord is to meditate on the activities, form, pastimes, name, and fame of the Lord. That is easier than what is imagined as meditation on the impersonal feature of the Supreme. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, verse 5, it is clearly stated that to meditate upon the impersonal feature of the Supreme is very difficult. It is practically no meditation or simply a waste of time because very seldom is the desired result obtained. The devotees, however, meditate upon the Lord's factual form and pastimes, and therefore the Lord is easily approachable by the devotees. This is also stated in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, verse 9. The Lord is non different from his transcendental activities. It is indicated also in this shloka that Lord Sri Krishna, while actually present before human society, especially in connection with the Battle of Kurukshetra, was accepted as the greatest personality of the time. Although he might not have been recognized as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the propaganda that a very great man is worshipped as God after his death is misleading because a man after his death cannot be made into God, nor can the personality of Godhead be a human being even when he is personally present. Both ideas are misconceptions. The idea of the anthropomorphism cannot be applicable in the case of Lord Krishna.
Okay. So, what the main points? This is now remembering the Rajasuya sacrifice. Performed hundreds and millions. Prabhupada said it's very expensive, and we need expert priests. And Vaishyas or Sudras are an important element. Prabhupada said previously, today most important is Vaishyas. And even the richest person is given value. But previously, first, the values for knowledge, values for character. The highest is the Brahmana, next is the Kshatriya, next is Vaishya, next is Shudra. But today, character has no value, only money has value. So Vaishyas are given number one value. Due to change of social activity, the importance of men has also changed. And previously, it is just Lord Krishna was everybody. Rasu Yagna, that's at the time he was killed. Shishupal was killed. Okay. When it was happened, when Yudhishthira Maharaj had one full empire built up, no, he had half the kingdom, and I was seeing. Anyway, before that, to meditate on Supreme Lord is to meditate his form and activity, impersonal calm meditation. The Prabhupada said it's not meditation at all, simply waste of time. Okay, now I'll just want, because I was just trying to see, last time also people are asking the dates. So I had searched. I think, yeah, it will be there in pictures. Okay. Here it is. share with you something. Because seeing the grahas and all, this cannot be absolute, but many people have done it based on the, the eclipses and all mentioned at that time. These are the dates people have got roughly. Even they tell which date it was, Wednesday or Tuesday. This is 3153 Wednesday. That's the time they try to disrobe Draupadi. That happened on Wednesday, May 4th, 3153 BC. To that degree, people have calculated. And this is May 8th. This is exile of Pandavas ended. May 31st, on Thursday, King Virata, they declared themselves. And November 2nd, Kurukshetra war started on November 2nd. And then there's a time. I think that is the day Bhagavad Gita was spoken. And this is 80, Krishna is that time 89-year-old, 8 months and 4 days old. Arjuna was 88 year, 1 month, 20 days old. Oh, you're not able to see? How do I? Now can you see?
Yes.
Now can you see? Arjuna was born January 1st, Monday, 3229 BC. Okay? So Kurukshetra war has started on November 2nd, Friday. I think, okay. Lord Krishna delivered. So Bhagavad Gita was spoken on November 2nd, Friday, 3140 BC. This is, somebody has made, I'm just saying, it will be little here and there, but more or less the idea is here. But something, sequence, what I was seeing is coming. Sequence is that Kurukshetra war has ended on November 26. Now, upon Bhishma, Bhishma left the world 58 nights in the bed of the arrows, after 58 nights. So, Kurukshetra war, Bhishma was on the 10th day down. So, 8 days he is up the war, plus. Where?
Actually,
It started on 2nd.
24 days it shows here.
No. Derived the chariot devotee, Lord Krishna was 18, okay. November 2nd, 10th day of the battle, Bhishma fell. Okay. Abhimanyu was trapped, November, this is 3, check review. Kurukshetra war ended. Yeah, this looks like, I don't know how.
Actually,
It should be 18 days, no? That is a mota. Some explanation has to come. The Bhima and Duryodhana fought for how many days? Okay, maybe, I don't know how it has come. It was very obvious. Okay. Anyway, now Bhishma left the world 58 nights. There's many people have done this. So you can try maybe who has done better. Now what was there, what I wanted to calculate. No. This is Ashwamedha Yagna, which was done by 3139. No. What the date? 3139. Okay. One more thing is there. BC means it is increasing. 3139 is 1 year later. You getting it, Mataji? It is not AD, it is BC. So 1 year later, Ashwamedha Yagna has occurred. So I'm just saying, so there are 2 yagnas. One is Ashwamedha Yagna and one is Rajasuya Yagna. Rajasuya Yagna happened before. When Yudhishthira Maharaj was ruling half the world, he did Rajasuya Yagna. Ashwamedha Yagna happened later. After Krishna made, we read that Bhagavatam, he made him do 3 times, Yudhishthira Maharaj. Okay? That is Ashwamedha Yagna. What all little I read was Ashwamedha Yagna, horse is involved, Ashwa. Rajasuya Yagna, similar both are. The Ashwamedha Yajna, there is a bali of the horse at the end. And that horse gets a new life. Okay. Rajasuya Yajna, if you do, you get into heaven. And if you do it 100 times, you become Indra. So therefore, there is one reference I read. Pandu was desiring when he came to know that my children's. He talks to Narada. I want them to go to heaven. And, as like a father, be comfortable. So therefore, the reference was there. But I'm just reading from other books.
Actually, Rashtrapada remains.
Anyway, we cannot do either. See, if you want to know, you cannot do either.
I don't know. This is after the
Asayaki, you cannot do Ashwamedha, neither you can do Rajasuya. Why? What are the two reasons proposite you cannot do? They are almost similar. Almost similar. Your sovereignty over the world is there. Okay? And in one horse is sent, and both of them horse is sent, but there is no bali of the horse mentioned in Rajasuya. In Ashwamedha, it is there. Ashwamedha, huh?
This was we have done. Whenever after any war, many people will be killed. So for the king who is going to become a king, no? So he does it for getting
Read out that. Yeah. Anyway.
Their Atma also should get.
Which were better? Here, they are both similar. Ashwamedha and Rajasuya are both similar. Okay. So anyway, the sequence is that Bhishma left the world on 15th January and Ashwamedha happened on March 23rd. Next year. 1 year later. According to this, I was just sequencing. And Kali Yuga started on 15th January, Friday, 3103, Magha Purnima.
Where comes this information?
There's some people, there are a lot of people calculating. How they are calculating based on the eclipses. Because it is mentioned, this eclipse came, then this eclipse came. Based on that, they can use their astrological chart and come to the date. So many people have come up because see, almost 5,000 years it is comes. Because this is 5,000 years of Kali Yuga started. So BC 3000 means plus 2000. We are almost, they are roughly on the correct. But exact date, many people have attempted based on the eclipses. Because it is mentioned in Mahabharata, this is about the situation in eclipse. This is a situation where Bhishma left the body. See, Bhishma left the body. In this calculation, 15 January looks reasonable because when the 14 January, then next, that Uttarayan starts. So it looks.
I rose for 59 nights.
That's what it says. His calculation comes in. There is some more attempts to understand, but sequences I got it clear here as far as I can understand. Yes, Prerna Mataji, any comments on this?
No, Prabhu, my question was that devotees, they observe something called as Bhishma Panchaka. And
No,
then there's also.
looks like he didn't leave the body. Now, if Bhishma Panchaka last time he asked me, that's why I studied this. He did
And
Bhishma
there is again Bhishma Ashtami. Some devotees observe Bhishma Ashtami also.
Ashtami. What had happened? That day he was born or he left the world?
He left the body. That's what I have heard. But I have not read this from proper sources, so I was confused.
No. All we can connect it together. Ashtami. Was it Ashtami that day? January 15, Tuesday, 310. Just check out whether it is Ashtami.
Okay. Yeah.
Bhima Ekadasi is there, but Bhima Ashtami.
Bhishma. No, Bhima. This is Bhishma.
Bhishma Ashtami.
Bhima Ekadashi. Yeah.
Bhima Ekadasi. Bhishma Ashtami.
Everything is there. You have to find out so many things there.
Bhishma was born in Ashtami.
Okay, now I'm getting. Yes. We still have 10 minutes. We continue. Any questions on this? Because this, if you read it carefully, Ashwamedha Yajna, he says, Bhishma says, I remember. Now he cannot remember Ashwamedha Yajna. One thing in that bed of arrows, and there is no way he can see that. He remembered Rajasuya Yajna, which happened when Yudhishthira Maharaj was the ruler before the Vanvas. That he remembers, and he was sitting there and he observed when Shishupal spoke bad words, Bhishma also stood up and shouted against that. You know that, in that he also objected. When Krishna was getting insulted, Bhishma also objected. And you know that, no? Most will remember from the serial.
So Rashtriya Yagna was before the Vanvas or
After.
Before the Vanvas, the Yudhishthira Maharaj built a beautiful capital. And there he did Rajaswaya Yagna. And that is where Duryodhana came. Everybody had to come. Even Karna, everybody came. And Duryodhana felt insulted because he slipped and fell in the water. And that is the Rajaswaya time. And Ashwamedha happened later after the war. Huh? That is all. Now, which is you read original. वो अब देखो which one is actual पक्का आपको पूरा पढ़ना पड़ेगा. ये ना क्या है ना and ये we don't know.
We don't know now because she was how she was insulted in front of everybody. She can come and make a she loves. She was in the upper.
Yeah, I announced correct. Tam imamaham sharira bhajam hri hri deshritam atma kalpitana pratidesham ivanekadharkam ekam Samadhigatovasya vidhuta bheda mohaha. Now I meditate with full concentration upon that one Shri Krishna now present before me, because now I have transcended misconception duality in regard to his presence in everyone's heart, even in the hearts of the mental speculators. He is in everyone's heart. The sun may be perceived differently, but the sun is one. Yeah, who is going to read? Somebody.
Lord Shri Krishna is the one
Give them mic.
supreme personality of Godhead, but he has expanded himself into his expanded himself into his multiplanetary portions by his inconceivable energy. The conception of the duality is due to ignorance of his inconceivable energy. In the Bhagavad Gita 9.11, the Lord says that only the foolish take him to be a mere human being. Such foolish men are not aware of his inconceivable energies. By his inconceivable energy, he is present in everyone's heart as the sun is present before everyone all over the world. The Paramatma feature of the Lord is an expansion of his plenary portions. He expands himself as Paramatma in everyone's heart by his inconceivable energy, and he also expands himself as the glowing effulgence of Brahma Jyoti by expansion of his personal glow. It is stated in the Brahma Samhita that the Brahma Jyoti is his personal glow. Therefore, there is no difference between him and his personal glow, Brahma Jyoti, or his planetary portions as Paramatma. Less intelligent persons who are not aware of this fact consider Brahma Jyoti and Paramatma to be different from Sri Krishna. This misconception of duality is completely removed from the mind of Bhishma Deva, and he is now satisfied that it is the Lord Sri Krishna only who is all in everything. This enlightenment is attained by the great Mahatmas or devotees, as it is stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.19, that Vasudeva is all in everything, and that There is no existence of anything without Vasudeva. Vasudeva or Lord Shri Krishna is the original supreme person as now confirmed by the Mahajana, and therefore both the neophytes and the pure devotees must try to follow in his footsteps. That is the way of the devotional line. The worshipable object of Bhishma Deva is Lord Shri Krishna as Parthasarathi, and that of the gopis is the same Krishna in Vrindavana as the most attractive Shamasundara. Sometimes less intelligent scholars make a mistake and think that Shri Krishna of Vrindavana and that of the battle of Kurukshetra are different personalities. But for Bhishma Deva, this misconception is completely removed. Even the impersonalist object of destination in Krishna as the impersonal Jyoti and the yogi's destination of the Paramatma is also Krishna. Krishna is both Brahma Jyoti and localized Paramatma, but in Brahma Jyoti or Paramatma, there is no Krishna or sweet relations with Krishna. In his personal feature, Krishna is both Parthasarathi and Shamasundara of Vrindavana. But in his impersonal feature, he is neither in the Brahma Jyoti nor in the Paramatma. Great Mahatmas like Bhishma Deva realize all these different features of Lord Shri Krishna, and therefore they worship Lord Shri Krishna, knowing him as the original of all features.
Because of the three features, Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagwan. Bhagwan is the final feature, Brahman, Paramatma included within it. Okay? And there is no duality, means they are not different. Now I meditate full concentration upon that one Lord Krishna. Prabhupada, that is only possible inconceivably. How can God be in one place at the same time be in everybody's heart? Inconceivable. जब तक भगवान का अचिंत्य शक्ति स्वीकार नहीं करेंगे, भगवान को नहीं समझ सकते, है ना? भगवान को समझना तो अचिंत्य शक्ति. पहला चीज ये कि अचिंत्य शक्ति. He can be present in everybody's heart personally. So that is, he says, that's true. Sun is perceived differently, but sun is one. And this is the last prayer he offers. Vasudeva sarvamati samahatma sudurlabha bahunam janam namante. And then what happens? It says, Suta vacha Krishna evam bhagavati मनोवागत श्रीवृत्तिभिः आत्मनि आत्मानमावेश्य सो अंतश्वास उपारमात्. Sud Goswami says, Vishnu merged into the super soul, Lord Shri Krishna, the Supreme Personality Godhead, with his mind, speech, sight and actions, and thus he became silent and his breathing stopped.
Is attained by Bhishma Deva. While quitting his material body is called lyrical samadhi, because he merged himself into thinking of the Lord and his mind into remembering his different activities. He scented the glories of the Lord, and by his side he began to see the Lord personally present before him, and thus all his activities became concentrated upon the Lord without deviation. This is the highest stage of perfection, and it is possible for everyone to attain this stage by practice of devotional service. The devotional service of the Lord consists of 9 principles of service activity. They are: number 1, hearing; number 2, chanting; number 3, remembering; number 4, serving the lotus feet; number 5, worshipping; 6, praying; 7, executing the orders; 8, fraternizing; and 9, fully surrendering. Any one of them or all of them are equally incompetent to award the desired result, but they require to be practiced persistently under the guidance of an expert devotee of the Lord. The first item, hearing, is the most important item of all, and therefore hearing of Bhagavad Gita and later on Srimad Bhagavatam is essential for the serious candidate who wants to attain the stage of Bhishma Deva at the end. The unique situation at Bhishma Deva's time of death can be attained even though Lord Krishna may not be personally present. His words of Bhagavad Gita or those of Srimad Bhagavatam are identical with the Lord. They are sound incarnations of the Lord, and one can fully utilize them to be entitled to attain the stage of Sri Bhishma Deva, who was one of the 8 Vasus. Every man or animal die at a certain stage of life, but one who dies like Vishnudeva attains perfection, and one who dies forced by laws of nature dies like an animal. That is the difference between a man and an animal. A human form of life is specially meant for dying like Vishnudeva.
How beautiful purpose. Prabhupada is sitting in Vrindavan. Movement has not started. There is not a single follower. And Prabhupada is writing with peacefully, such beautiful. You just imagine this. Totally out of the situation. So peaceful must be to write. Human form of life is meant to die like Bhishma did. Not to die like an animal. So that's the end today. We continue. And then there is a celebration now. Even though he leaves the body, there is celebration. All present there became silent like birds at the end of the day. Thereafter, both men and demigods sounded drums in honor, and the honest royal order commenced demonstration of honor and respect. In the sky fell showers of flowers. Celebration started. Pure devotee leaves the body this day. There is time for celebration. Therefore, we celebrate disappearance of the acharyas because they are victorious over birth and death, and they take shelter now. Shri Shri Radha Govind ki, Shri Shri
Jai,
Gaurita ki, Shri
Jai,
Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Hare Krishna, thanks everybody. Some people could not join only the discussion. We need next time. I can see at least you can notice Prerna Mataji 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yes,
6,
Prabhu.
7, 8, 9. So 13 people. Out of that, only one person could come in. So we need to make a video.
Yes, they were not clicking on the video actually, they were just joining in.
No, we should make a video how to join.
Yeah.
Tutorial so we can share. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.